Jordan, I want to let you start off with a simple question. Go ahead.
Can we swear?
Yeah, go for it.
Why the fuck have you got your Christmas tree up in November? That is the question. Are you the Grinch?
Well, no, I'm not the Grinch. First of all, I don't like your attitude starting this off with such a aggressive question. Secondly, I like a little bit of joy, a little bit of whimsy, a wee bit of cringe in my life. All right, I've no fear of the controversy. If I want to bring some joy into my life, I'm going to put the tree up. I love Christmas. What's wrong with putting the tree up? It is the earliest I've ever put it up.
I think you might have set a new record.
I am really happy with my decisions. And I'm no fear. I'm not afraid of the controversy. And I'll do it again.
Please don't.
A lot of people ask me this though, but what's the ideal time to start playing Christmas songs in your opinion?
November 1st.
Yeah. Everyone says it, November 1st. Some people's like,
November
oh no,
1st.
middle of November, usual stuff. I'm like, no, December the 1st.
I usually, with the Christmas tree and stuff, and Christmas decorations, I usually vibe it out. I've even put it up as late as Christmas Eve. It's just whenever I've got free and I've got time to do it, and I just fancy doing it. I just do what I want, really. But I love Christmas. I love a roast. I love a wee bit of mulled wine. I love it. It's great. I love presents.
You're redeeming yourself, Veronica.
See, thank you. I'm glad you approve, because all I want is your approval at the end of the day.
What can I say?
I don't even know what to say anymore. But anyway, Veronica, favorite Christmas movie?
Oh,
Home Alone.
favorite Christmas. Oh, Home Alone's cracking. Home Alone is cracking. Home Alone 2, cracking. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
That is true. It only gets played at Christmas, by the way, so go ahead.
What else? Bad Santa's a good one. Elf is an excellent one. That's just a classic. Anytime I burp, I'll always turn around and be like, "Do you hear that?" Every single time. It's such a quotable film. What else?
So many.
Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas as well.
What a film.
Controversial opinion, but it is a Christmas movie at the end of the day. It's Nightmare Before Christmas. So
the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Muppets Christmas Carol, good shout. Excellent shout. Muppets Christmas Carol is definitely up there. I would also like to see a Die Hard remake with the Muppets.
Okay, you kind of taught me around when you said the Muppets there.
Listen, imagine it.
How does that work?
They're all Muppets.
Do you know what, right? I'm just going to throw it out there. I've never seen Die Hard. Never seen it.
It's been lovely talking to you guys. So I'm just going to log off. Thanks. It's been great talking to you. You've never seen
it.
Oh my goodness. How old are you?
I have a guess.
I don't know. How old? Oh, I don't know. Could be anything. Could be 25.
Bang on.
Could be 42. 25. That's why you haven't seen Die Hard then. That's right. Because there's loads of films out there, so it's difficult to get round to the classics. But it is a classic. I do highly recommend it. Alan Rickman is just nice. I just love it.
Right, then should we get into some wrestling? That's obviously why we're here. So, Jordan, do you want to kick us off with the first question?
Let's talk about random stuff.
Could do.
I'm ready.
But
I'm ready.
Let's throw it all the way back, Veronica. And where did you first discover wrestling?
So mine is a bit of a different story with my love for wrestling. I remember watching it when I was younger, Attitude Era. I can remember seeing it, but I wasn't as into it as everyone else was. Like, I liked it and it was nice, but it wasn't something that I paid much attention to. I was aware of it. It was in the background. It wasn't until I was much older, and I was in my mid-20s. And in fact, how old? It was a long time ago anyway. So it was my mid-20s, and my friend put on wrestling, and I was like, all right, okay, we'll watch this. And the only thing that I'd ever seen of wrestling was WWE. That was my only exposure to wrestling. And I was like, all right, okay, put it on. And he put on Ring of Honor. And I remember the
Okay.
match he put on. It was 2003, AJ Styles versus Paul London. And I watched the match and I went, what? It was the most indie wrestling match you've ever seen in your life. And it set my soul on fire. I was like, this is wrestling? What? Couldn't believe it. And he was like, and then it just went on this YouTube rampage of showing me the next match and the next match, and figuring out what my taste was. And I just completely fell in love with it, and couldn't get enough of it. I consumed as much as I could. Anytime I was on YouTube, I would stick another wrestling match on. So I came to it quite late. Then it was only a couple of years after that that I got involved with ICW, started going to ICW shows and going to local independent wrestling shows, and just completely fell in love with it at a late age.
Interesting.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy?
It's not the first match that I'd thought you would have said, but it's a good
I
shout.
know.
Two very incredible wrestlers. When you say Liam,
Very incredible.
Absolutely,
Like
I
really,
mean-
really good.
Especially Paul London. I mean, not many people said like they've seen the first match is a Paul London match.
I know. And then years later, working with them, being very, very close with them.
Absolutely.
Crazy. Full circle moments.
That's just absolutely bonkers. So, talk a little bit about obviously like getting into obviously ICW, obviously starting out there.
So when I first started going to ICW, I was with a group of friends. There was people that were wrestlers that I was working with and had worked with and were friends with already. And then anytime it was after ICW, we'd all go out afterwards. I had experience on stage. I was a burlesque performer at the time. I had experience in bands, stage presence. I was also a presenter at the time. So started going to shows, meeting more of the roster nights out because I already knew a couple of them, talking to Mark Dallas, and Mark Dallas turned to me one day and said, I've got a job for you if you would like it. And he said, how would you like to be a backstage interviewer? And that's how it started off. I was like, yeah, sounds great. I had no idea what it would entail to be a backstage interviewer. I didn't realize how much work it would be and how it would just completely take over my life. And here we are.
There you go. Absolutely. One Breezy, over to you, bro.
so obviously you've done a fair lot at ICW, but you've also come down to Liverpool quite a lot as well. What's it like working with TNT? Is it kind of different?
Yeah, 100%. Every wrestling company that I go to runs things slightly differently. With ICW, it's very regimented, and like it's very regimented. We have like show files that the office has access to. We have everything collated. We have scripts. We have promo lists. We have call times. Whereas TNT has, like, even at ICW, we have like pre-meetings. We have a run through where we go through absolutely everything, so everyone's like on the same page basically, which is very rare for other wrestling companies that I've worked for outside of ICW. So it's very regimented, very professional. Production is really on point. But I suppose that's to come from working with WWE, being owned by someone that owns a music events production company. So it's all very organized. Not to say that TNT isn't, it's just very differently organized. And it's much more fly by the seat of your pants. It's more of an energy that anything could happen. you go down there and everyone's just having a great time. It's completely different elements, completely different energies. And I absolutely love it. I love going down to TNT. I was friends with them for a very long time. Again, I would go down because I'm a big fan of indie wrestling at the end of the day. So I would go down to watch death matches because there wasn't a lot of places that were doing death matches, and I really wanted to see it live. So I would go down to TNT and I would see a number of people that I've been fans of, and I wanted to go down and check it out. So I started at TNT as a fan. Me and Jay became really good friends, and again, he talked about getting me down for years and years. And then finally, I was like, well, I've got the time to do it now, because I stepped into doing wrestling and production full time. So I was like, well, I've got more time to dedicate to that stuff now, so let's just go for it. And it is a completely different energy. There's much more card subject to change. There's much more like anything could happen type of energy. I love it. Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you
Over to
say
you,
it's like more, would you say it's like more like unpredictability then when it comes to TNT?
Yeah, there is a definitely an element. Not to say that it's not meticulously thought out, but it's more that you could add more to it if you wanted to. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very creative environment. I love it. I love the two of them.
Absolutely. So obviously I want to stick with TNT and stuff like that now. What's it like working with Simon Hill? Because I imagine he's absolutely incredible to work with.
Oh, he's rotten. He's rude. He's smelly. It smells like Stilton cheese. And I hate everything about him.
Fucking hell.
I don't really, obviously. Me and Simon, when I first met Simon, we were mutuals on, I think it was Twitter or Instagram. And the first time I went down to TNT, I spotted him in the corner, so I went up to him and I had my lights and my camera, and I'm like trotting up to him, and he's looking at me like, "Who is this? Who is this?" He didn't recognize me, and I was like, "Hey, it's me, Veronica. We're mutuals. I'm doing the socials. How are you?" And from then on, we just got on like an absolute house on fire. We had the very same attitude with things. We come from broadcasting backgrounds. We know how to structure things. I'm a lover of organisation, and pushing creativity and pushing art and interpretation and making sure that we're presenting these huge elements, these big ideas, and being able to break them all down and make them more palatable for people to listen to and digest better. So we got on like a house on fire with that aspect. We're on the same page with a lot of stuff. And he's just very supportive. He wants to make the scene better. He wants to invest his time not only in his own career but bolstering the rest of the broadcasters, creating community within those that are involved in professional wrestling, not just wrestlers, but camera crew, social media, producers, creative production, promotion, all different aspects of the professional aspect of pro wrestling, bring them all together. And he puts in so much effort that I really admire him as a person and as a friend.
Awesome. Warren Breezy, back to you, bro.
So, for people that don't know, what does it take to be a producer, and like what goes on behind the scenes that people wouldn't know of?
So from my perspective, to be a producer, what we have to do is make things happen. We have to produce it. It's exactly what it says on the tin. So we'll get a list of things from creative, and it's my job to make sure that all of those things on the list happen. So if I have something that is to promote a 6-man that's going to happen at the next show, it's going to involve these people,
Mm.
and this is sort of the storyline, we need you to produce a video that promotes that, says the next show, so I make sure that I can gather everyone together, find a location to shoot it in, set up the lighting, set up the camera, and direct it and produce it. The one thing that people don't anticipate, the one thing that I run into quite a lot is people think that it takes 2 minutes to do a promo, because promos last 60 seconds for social media, last 60 seconds. So they don't take into account when we're finding the location, setting up the lights, trying to wrangle wrestlers, especially 6 of them, together for one promo backstage during a show is just, it's like herding cats. That's what that name was for, herding cats, is trying to gather several wrestlers and trying to get them all to face in the right direction and get their marks in place, figure out who's saying what, figure out what it is we want to say. A lot of people will come with like ideas of what it is they want to say. Some people don't like to go through it at all. They like to just get asked a question and just shoot from the hip. That again is something that you get with like developing interpersonal skills with and having these interpersonal relationships with each of the wrestlers. You get to know their habits. Like some people like to just start the camera, put a light on them, and that's where their best work happens. Other people like to stage it out and want to make a very specific impact and say very specific things. Like they might want to leave little Easter eggs for things that are happening later on. Some people are very meticulous. So the one thing is people think it doesn't take a very long time and it doesn't take a lot of effort to be able to facilitate people doing promotional material, interviews, filming things backstage, because it's me that films it all. So it takes a lot of effort to be able to put all of those elements from creative, from production, it's like a huge group project that I have to wrangle together and focus everyone to make this 60-second video to put online.
You do an incredible job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But I think it's just the time and effort. People come in all the time, and I see people like starting to do backstage like material and just been filming things, and they think that it takes 2 seconds. It's the amount of time and skill that it actually does take is really underestimated, I think.
Okay. I also want to follow on from what one Breezy just said there is, when it comes obviously to producing content and stuff like that, do you have like a time frame you have to do them by?
Yeah, well, it really depends what it's for. It could be for, if it's for during the show, then we have to get the promos done before 6 o'clock for ICW. Same for TNT. We have to get it done like an hour before showtime. And if it's like for during the show, if it's like a post-match interview, I do prefer to actually do them after the match. I do prefer to keep it real as much as possible and to get real emotions, because yeah, it's professional wrestling, but it's each of these workers, each of these pro wrestlers are taking all of their emotion, all of who they are, and turning it up to 11. So I really like to get the passion and keep the energy as much as possible and do it as close to post-match and as close to pre-match as possible. You get the best out of people that way.
Okay.
So I do like to organize it that way, and you'll see the card, and certain places have like times figured out. So like before the match, I'll go around every day and be like, your promos at this time, your promos at that time. We'll do it then, we'll do it this way. So we'll organize it beforehand.
Okay. Well, Breezy, back to you, bro.
So you mentioned earlier, obviously, the deathmatch scene. What is it that hooks you to the deathmatch scene, and who would you say doesn't get the recognition they deserve in the deathmatch community and scene itself?
Ooh, let's see. There's a lot of people. Right, I'll answer the first. Like, the thing that draws me to deathmatch wrestling is the brutality. It's the added element for creativity. You can paint with all the colors of the wind. I do think there's not a lot of deathmatch wrestlers that do that. There's a lot of deathmatch wrestlers that just rest on the fact that they can bash some light tubes over each other and put a couple of gusset plates in your arm and call it a day, and don't really tell a story or create art. I think deathmatch wrestling is art at the end of the day. I think you can really tell the most brutal, passionate stories but on that canvas. I just love how brutal it is, and how, I mean, we all grew up watching Jackass. Well, I grew up watching Jackass,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it's just incredible. I used to watch it all the time. I still do now and again, like stick on an episode of Jackass and just laugh my ass off. Sometimes, like, see when someone climbs up some scaffolding and they've got this whole like structure made from glass and chairs and tables, and they're going to jump off it onto these. Like, what are you doing? What
Literally.
series of decisions have led you to this moment in your life where you're doing this? It's amazing. There are lots of. Oh, my cat's going to join us. Are you coming up? Come on in. Come on. We want to meet you.
What's its name?
Winston. Come on. Here he comes. Come on, Dad.
Churchill.
Why are you right? Anyway, so he'll come up in his own time. So, second part of the question is, who do I think is? That was my cat pulling on the wires. Excuse me. Come on.
We just had a nice glimpse at the tree. Garfield.
Winston. Yeah. I'm trying to think who doesn't get the recognition that they deserve. On the British scene, on the American scene,
Take your pick.
there's a whole bunch. I think that on the British scene, I think Tomby, who just won Thrill Kill, but it was long overdue, in my opinion. I think he put so much effort, so much heart, and he's an incredible talent, in my opinion. He's everything a deathmatch wrestler should be, in my opinion. I think he's fantastic. Who else? I think Tim Strange has been on the up, of course. My friend Tim Strange.
What a
He
guy.
does get what a guy. What a guy. Just the nicest, most wholesome cowboy there is. He is so wonderful. I got on with him like a house on fire. I absolutely love him to pieces. And I think that he has had some wonderful opportunities, and he's really building his way through over the last couple of years doing death matches, because he wasn't always doing death matches. It's something that's pretty recent for him. And he's had some incredible matches. And I think he deserves more recognition for that. For sure, 100%. Who else on the UK scene?
Emerson Jane.
Emerson Jane. Emerson Jane is incredible. What a talent. Absolutely love her. But I think if we're talking about who doesn't get recognition, I think everybody knows Emerson Jane's bloody brilliant. Same for like Drew Parker. Drew Parker, what a talent. Drew Parker. Drew Parker. What a talent. He's, in my opinion, he's at the tippy top of the UK scene. I'm really looking forward to his match with Tate Mayfairs at TNT. I'm really looking forward to it because it's we're going to see Drew in a very different light than we normally do at TNT. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with. I'm trying to think who else in the
So many, aren't there?
There's loads. Who else? Danny Darko. He's good. He puts in a lot of effort. I feel like he should get booked more. Who else? I think it's such a small scene. I'm thinking about in American scenes as well, who should get more recognition. I think
Matt
maybe
Cardona.
Matt Cardona. I think again, he gets loads of. He's doing really, really well. He's doing great.
Yeah.
He should be getting booked all the time. I'm trying to think of people that are just like really, really good and should be booked more. I want to see more of Ricky Shane Page. I think he is an incredible talent. He, of course, is just back from a spine injury, so he's just like slowly getting back to it. But I'm really looking forward to seeing him back in the game. He should get more recognition for all the things that he's accomplished, all the tours that he's done, all the people that he's faced. Like, he should get a lot more recognition. He's definitely one of my favorite wrestlers, full stop, not just deathmatch wrestlers, one of my favorite wrestlers and a very good friend as well.
Tara
Zepp. Who?
Tara Zepp.
Tara Zepp?
Yeah, she's like a Canadian female who does the deathmatch scene. She's done a few. She's really good.
Does she have the dark eyes?
I think so. She's like a Harley Quinn. She's full covered in tattoos.
Yes. I know who you're talking about for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a match, so I wouldn't be able to comment. I wouldn't like to comment without seeing a match at least.
Okay, absolutely.
Who does she work with?
So she's done a few for GCW, and then she's done. What's the one that she did recently? I think she's done one with John Wayne Murdoch as well.
Oh, John Wayne Murdoch, what a guy!
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Aye, what a guy!
I mean, like,
there's just so many, isn't there?
You can have a full discussion just on the deathmatch scene at all.
Yeah, I haven't even mentioned, like I said, Ricky is one of my favourites. Masada.
Yes.
Masada, like, is just, I love watching Masada. I think he's just the best. I think he looks genuinely scary, and I just wouldn't want to get on the bad side of him. Anyone that steps in the ring with him, I'm just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Are you crazy? Like, it's amazing. Ever controversial, Necro Butcher. Now, I don't agree with his opinions on things, but I will 100% watch him every single time, because his hits are so hard, so genuinely. I seen him live as well at Bleeding Gums, and you don't hear it when you're watching it like on telly. The thunk, the impact that his hands make. I don't know how the biology of his fists. I don't know what plan God had when he was making this man's hands, but when he like punches people, it's like audible. You could hear it. It's so hard hitting, and that hard hitting brawling, which is his bread and butter, is just so brutal. And that's what I like at the end of the day. I like that consensual brutality. That's what we like.
Absolutely. So obviously I want to stick with the deathmatch scene, because it seems that it gets a lot of criticism and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? From obviously fans. What would you say to that?
Some of it's valid. At the end of the day, some of it is valid, and some of it is not so much. Some of it is just from a lack of understanding of what it is, and how it is produced, and how it comes about, and how the weapons are made. It really depends on what specifically it is that people have a problem with the deathmatch wrestling scene. I think that, like, I think a lot of people, when they see deathmatch wrestling, a lot of the time, and I would say more than half of deathmatch wrestling isn't wrestling. It's more just hitting each other with light tubes and being a little bit lazy and not really putting a match together. So I could see why people would just be like, oh, they're just hitting each other with glass, or that it's dangerous and it puts people at risk. Yes, absolutely. But that's something that we all sign up for. It is the more extreme side, and not everybody has to like it. But it really depends on which controversy you're really talking about. Some of it's valid, some of it's not.
I think the thing that bugs me is like something will happen like at a certain show, and then the whole scene gets under scrutiny, even though it's like a certain promotion.
Yeah.
And if that makes sense.
Yes, 100%. Like if someone comes in with a weed whacker and starts whacking at people in front of children. Yes, I
Yeah.
don't agree with that. There is some promotions I know do death matches at kids shows. Any of the ones that I've seen or been involved with say, and there's no glass. It's more just like there's barbed wire and tables and stuff like that, and there'll be an announcement before saying there's going to be a death match. If you don't want to be involved in the death match, there is going to be blood in it. They'll do a meet and greet in a separate room so they can take the kids over and they don't have to watch it. Again, it's not as extreme. It's more like, I would say it's more like extreme hardcore style rather than an actual death match. Full death matches with kids in the audience, it's such a danger to be around. When you step into a room where there's going to be death matches, you are stepping into it knowing that there's going to be glass flying around, that there's going to be objects flying around, drinks are going to be spilled, the floor is going to be slippery with alcohol, water, blood, spit. It's going to get messy. There's going to be trip hazards everywhere. They could come and brawl. Your seat could be taken away from you and used as a weapon. When you enter the room, you're accepting all of this. So it can be a dangerous place. So I don't think that it's an environment for young audiences, certainly not under 16, I would say, so that they can understand exactly what's happening in front of them. What else? What other controversies are there? And I'll give you my opinion.
I think that's the only main
Because
one I
I'm
would
no
say I can
Fiat.
think of.
I'm no Fiat. I'll say it.
I'll think of
I'll
someone.
say it.
One breezy back to you, bro.
So someone in ICW, I think, has had an incredible year and a half. I would say is Rio. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. 100%. A big stand for Rio. I'm a huge fan of Rio. Both in the ring and backstage. Just an absolute delight to be around. Powerhouse, full on aura, success. Amazing. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Queen.
100%.
Straight to the point. I love it. Anything else, John, or do you want to go with my question?
You can go yours, mate.
Absolutely.
Oh, did I answer it already? Nice.
No, you did.
No, absolutely. So we've talked about TNT, we've talked about ICW, but I want to talk about Siren's Fury because that is a great promotion.
So yeah, Siren's Fury is going to give a platform for female wrestlers to really show their stuff and to be able to. In wrestling, female wrestlers are quite limited to one match a show on average. So it's very difficult to build up interconnected storylines. It's very difficult to continue on the path of like building something when you only get one match a show. Especially if a lot of wrestling companies don't have intergender matches, they don't have mixed matches. A lot of people shy away from that. I don't think they should. I think it should be pro wrestlers and everyone just wrestles together. But this certainly gives people the platform to be able to not only have multiple matches but learn from each other and be able to put on a full show. It's going to be very, very exciting. We've got 4 dates, I believe, in 2026. The last show, Sirens Fury, I did the ring announcing. I've started doing a little bit of ring announcing, just a little bit,
Good.
just a little bit, which I'm okay at. I'm not too bad. I do still make mistakes, but I've only done it 3 times in total, so it's not too bad. I did make some mistakes at the last Cyrus Fury, but I'll just ask you to fast forward through those bits and please give me some patience. That would be great. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Cyrus Street. It's going to be on a Thursday night, which will be exciting as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've got a little follow-up question also from that. I mean, the women's division, obviously, in Scotland and the UK, it's so strong. Do you know what I mean? I can name 10 wrestlers and you'd be missing somebody because it's absolutely incredible.
It is completely jam-packed. And that's why sometimes when you see it's just one match on an entire card is women's wrestling, it's a bit heartbreaking, and it can be disheartening, and it can be really frustrating as well. So it's really good that there's places that are just focused on women's wrestling so that they can really just show what they're made of and learn from each other and watch each other's matches, and make it bigger and stronger. And it's because of shows like this that they can get even better, that they can really push women's wrestling forward. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. The women are also getting involved in the deathmatch scene. I think I've seen 2 death matches, obviously, with women as well.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Mickey Knuckles. Mickey Knuckles. Well, Mickey Knuckles, of course, has been on the deathmatch scene since early 2000s, I believe. Early 2000s, for sure. She's been on the scene. She's won Tournament of Death at ICW. A promotion that is it's one of my favourite promotions to watch. I'm a big CZW fan. And to see her win TOD was just, what a moment. It was just incredible. She does really, really well. Of course, you've got Emerson Jane, who isn't afraid to put herself out there and just really be brutal. And I absolutely love it. I think there should be more women in death matches, for sure. I think that it's quite funny because I think that women do naturally have a higher pain tolerance. So the smaller things don't hurt as much, which I think we should use to our advantage. So why isn't there more people in deathmatch wrestling? I think, see, if I was a wrestler, I'd be a deathmatch wrestler for sure. For sure. 100%.
Absolutely.
I've been hit by a light tube. Been hit by a light tube. I've been hit by a chair, and that was it. Deathmatch wrestling.
Little side rant: Lucy Sky and Casey Owens from TNT. That
100%.
deathmatch was incredible.
Yep, really, really good. Casey also got a really bad cut on the back of her leg from that. I had to get stitches from it. Lucy Sky is just incredible, and I don't know how she does it, but see, when her face is covered in blood, she somehow suits it and looks really pretty, and I don't know how she does it. I don't know, like there's only a certain amount of people that could pull that off, and she really, really does. It was really, really brutal, lots of glass, lots of blood. That's what we like to see, isn't it?
Absolutely, and stuff like that. One brings it back to you, bro.
So, who would you say is the 4 most important people over the, shall we say, 25 years that ICW has been going, or 20 years? Who's the 4 people, male or female, that stand out to you that you would put in the first ballot Hall of Fame? I know there is an ICW Hall of Fame, but who would you put in the ICW Hall of Fame?
ICW people Hall of Fame. Mark Dallas, first and foremost.
Okay.
He was the guy that created it all. He was the genius behind it. He was the man with the plan. I would put Mark Dallas first and foremost. Jack Jester. Have to put Jack Jester.
What a name, by
Like,
the
you
way.
can't. I know, right? Like, I would have to put him up there. He is ICW. He is like the forefront. He always has been. Who else would I put? I've only got 2 left. Oh, I've only got 2 left. Right, I have
no
to have
right
a
or wrong.
woman. I have to have a woman. Has to be a wrestler. Going to put, and it had like, who's it going to be? Because it's obviously either going to be Alba, Kaylee Ray, or it's going to be
Pippen Evans.
Piper Niven,
Yeah.
Viper. Like, now this is like the hardest decision I've ever made in my life.
I got you talking, Veronica.
I think, right, I'm going to say Piper.
Okay.
And the thing that got it, I feel like Kaylee Ray was in more hardcore matches and more intergender matches that really put ICW on the map. But it was Viper that pushed a lot of things forward. She broke a lot of records. And she was the first ICW Women's World Champion. So I'm going to put Viper up there, original name.
Okay.
And then the last,
You can have an honorable mention. Who are you gonna have?
I am finding, like, you're going to have to like fast forward through all of my thinking faces, like, because this is honestly, who else?
You got 2. In fact, I will have an honorable mention. You can, and Liam can. My honorable mention is going to be Lionheart.
Of course, Adrian. I was just talking about him today.
I said
With,
line out as well.
of course, I was going to leave him to the end as
Okay.
the big finale. But of course, Adrian. I was literally just talking about him today. Me and Sean McLaughlin, the new ICW GM, who is, of course, a long-standing referee at ICW. We were just talking about him today because we were up at we drove past Maryhill Community Centre, where a lot of ICW shows used to be in, and we started sharing memories. Of course, Lionheart. Yes. So that's the 4. Is that 4? And then the honourable mention. What was your one?
Mine
There's
was
one more that you
Lionheart,
were going to say. Lionheart as well.
but
Yeah,
you can obviously have him as well. But if I wasn't going to pick Lionheart, I would pick Drew Galloway.
I was going to say Drew McIntyre, but I kept thinking to myself, because he was one of the reasons that ICW pushed so far. When he returned, we were already on the way, but when he returned, it just pushed us skyrocketing into
Yeah.
orbit.
That pop as well.
That pop when he came back. And see, the funny thing is about him coming back, when all the lights went out, see backstage, they were hiding him. They were hiding him from everybody.
Okay.
So, and he was walking around with a hood up so that everybody would be surprised. And it was also, Mark Dallas was really good for that. Like, he would know things would get a big reaction. He would know he would make like a good decision. And he didn't only want to pop the crowd, he wanted to pop the boys as well and have like a good reaction from them. So then backstage, it's like, it keeps morale up and it's really exciting and it's an exciting place to be. So he was hiding backstage as well, and like the way that that was in the O2 ABC, the way that it's like planned out, there's 2 separate backstage areas, and the way to get to each one is by going behind the curtain, behind the stage. So all of the main roster were in this end, and he was in this like little tiny room that had a little lock on it, and he just stayed in there the whole time, like the superstar he is. But then as soon as he went out, he came back. Then he went into the main changing room. But I just thought that was brilliant, just to keep it a secret from everybody. So then when the lights all came on, and he was there, wow, what a night! Drew McIntyre. I do want. There's loads of honorary mentions, like.
There's loads of them. So many.
There's so many that made ICW what it is, and I kind of want to like. It really was a team effort, but I'm pretty happy with the decisions that I made.
Yeah.
Yes, that's going to be my Hall of Famers. Jack Jester, Mark Dallas, Piper Niven, of course, Lionheart, Adrian, and then Drew Galloway. Okay,
Okay.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that decision.
Solid
That's
list.
good, that.
We
Solid,
finally
solid.
got there. We finally got there.
We might have to edit
Definitely.
that a little bit out, Jordan.
Yeah. I think we should just keep it in.
Nah, keep it in. Why not? Let's have some fun with it. Phil's gonna go. What's she thinking about?
Over to you, Liam.
Absolutely. So, what's the most rewarding thing for you when it comes to wrestling?
The most rewarding thing for wrestling.
For you, well, when it comes to wrestling, what you do?
The most rewarding thing for me is giving people the permission to be a little bit out of the box and realize that pro wrestling is an art form and that we can do whatever we want. Like, there's no rules. You literally can do whatever you want with these promos. If you want to try something new, if you want to get something across, using promos is a way to expand on your character work. It's a way to really explore who you are and what's important to you. What I like is watching people build the confidence to really let it go. And when you see the floodgates open, everything that comes out, moments that make me feel that I'm really like contributing to something is small moments, and it's usually if there's a screen during a show that's showing promos and interviews and things like that, and it's showing promos that I've done, and they're getting a lot of likes and they're getting a lot of attention. It's those moments that make me think, I did that. I was in charge of that. I told them to say that. I wrote that. And seeing people react to it and comment, not even live, and seeing people, and I've contributed to that art and I've facilitated that art, and I've seen people become successful from that, or use something that I say to them when they take it even further and they use like a tip that I said years before. That's the moment that I find the most rewarding. I get a lot of, it just fills my heart to be really creative and to have like a team effort with everyone. I think that's it.
Okay. One brings it back to you, bro.
So, one great thing that you see when companies work with other companies and they bring people over to the UK is different wrestlers and stuff like that. So you've had TNT that works a lot with GCW.
Yeah.
And Effie's Big Gay Brunch happens, I think, once or twice a year. What's that like, that atmosphere, and like just working with Effie and all the people that come over? What's that like, working with GCW?
The people that work for GCW are lovely. People like Effie, like Jimmy Lloyd, I've worked with him a few times as well. They're all wonderful to be around, very helpful, enthusiastic, encouraging, just want to have a good time, excited to be there, grateful. There's a lot of gratitude, because I think it's like we over here think to ourselves, oh, it's cool to have Effie and everyone over here. But we have to remember they get to travel the world and we're part of the world that they get to travel to. So they're filled with gratitude. So it's a very wholesome atmosphere, to be honest with you. Everyone just wants to have a lot of fun and smile and laugh and get the job done. With Effie's Big Gay Brunch, the wholesome backstage atmosphere is tenfold because, of course, they're trying to platform LGBTQIA plus wrestlers, and not just wrestlers, but backstage crew, announcers. Lots of people get involved as much as possible, and it's to give them a platform and to show them the support, and it's also to bring in more LGBTQ fans as well and give them a safe place to be able to express their love of pro wrestling. So the wholesome atmosphere is just amazing and totally gay, and I love it.
Awesome.
Totally gay.
Yeah, and I've
It
always
is.
said I've always said me as a wrestling fan, wrestling's for everyone. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of who you are as a person.
Yeah, wrestling is for everyone. And I think that there can be a lot of division in the world today. And I think that we need to focus in on the positivity and bring everyone into the circle, because no matter what, people will follow where the love is. So if we just show as much love as possible, love and brutality, that's what we're about.
Absolutely. So, top 3 matches you've obviously witnessed live.
Witness live. Ooh. The Emerson Jane Drew Parker for the Extreme title, the first time around, was one of my favorite matches between the two of them. It was just incredible. Oh no, in fact, I take that back. The I Quit match between Drew Parker and Emerson Jane was just at TNT. Crazy, amazing, wonderful. There's very few wrestling matches that I have the time, that if I'm working the show, that I'll have the time to go out and watch. I try to catch at least one wrestling match if I'm working a show, just one, just so that I can get the vibe of the night. Because there's nothing like watching a wrestling match in person. You can watch it back online or whatever, but there's nothing like being at a wrestling show. So I do like to go and watch. So that was one, definitely. It was the I Quit match. What else? Do you know what one I really enjoyed? And I always say this. There was a dog collar and chain match between Wolfgang, BT Gun, in 2018, I believe. And there was a feud that was building between them for months and months. And they finally came to this stipulation. Now, the two of them are cousins. So there was a lot of resentment and animosity between the two of them, just pure venom. A lot of lore behind it. And you felt every bit of it during that match. It was just incredible. It was the first time I'd seen that stipulation live, and it was so brutal. At times, I thought they were going to stop the match. It was just so incredibly brutal. And then third that I've seen live, trying to think. See, when you just narrow it down to so few, it's really difficult when you've worked in wrestling for over 10 years. 14 years. 14 years now. And third one, that I've seen live. My favourites. Say that one.
So many in that.
I'm going to, I know there's just so many. I'm going to say Jack Jester versus Drew McIntyre, Badlands, 2017. 2017?
In fact, I remember that.
It was, there's a YouTube
I think it was
hype
2016.
video for
I
it
think.
that every time I watch it, is it 2016?
Think so.
2016? It was 2016. There's, and I think because it represents such a moment in time for me, I remember watching it. I remember the chills. And even now, watching that hype video, I'll burst into tears every time. I remember that day, everything that was happening. Incredible. Honourable mention to was it that
Start
same
something
year? Was
now.
it a couple of years later? But it was Lionheart versus Jackie Polo.
Mm.
And Jackie Polo came out in gear with his own face on it. That match was just so full of rage. And it popped the boys very much so, from beginning to end. From beginning to end. Because there was real animosity between them. There was real animosity. They say that wrestling's fake, but a lot of these feuds that you see, it comes from someplace real. A lot of these feuds and a lot of things that people say to each other, it gets to a point, especially when it's going back and forth in promos, it will get to a point where you can see them get their back up. And that's one of them. So honourable mention. And not because it's the best, again, just for memories more than anything else.
Mm.
Just for memories.
Okay, one brings it back to you, bro.
Who would you say is your Mount Rushmore for professional wrestling?
Of all time?
Yeah.
The Mount Rushmore, right, Onita. Sandman. Raven. Is that Tanaka, maybe? No. I want to say Masada as well. RVD. RVD. All ECW guys.
Yeah.
It's all ECW. Oh, and Terry Funk.
Okay.
100% Terry Funk. I know I have a strange taste in wrestling, and I think it's because I came to wrestling quite late. So what I had to do was, I didn't really like talking about wrestling back in my early career just because I hadn't watched as much as everyone else. So what I, in my head, thought, I know what to do. I'll just go back and watch like 90s stuff from the beginning. I know I don't really like WWE. What else is around? And I started watching ECW and then started watching FMW. So that's why Onita has to be in there. Terry Funk has to be in there for sure, for sure. Sandman, pure aura. And then I was going to say RVD or Tommy Dreamer, but I'm going to place the fourth one for Raven just because he was an absolute genius and is still in creative to this day. So that's my Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Okay.
Absolutely. Love it.
Are you judging
So
me?
no, I think I can't fault you one bit. So as we begin to wind down, obviously you sent us some stuff to promote, so I'm going to show you the image and you
Yes.
get to promote it. So first one.
Nice. Oh, right. So this is Iron Kingdom. So this is a one-time only collaborative event between Iron Girders Pro Wrestling and Fan Frontier. Now, Fan Frontier usually promote Comic-Cons, these huge, big conventions where people gather together. So they're letting their powers combine to create this one-time only 18+ show. Wolfgang is doing an open challenge. We're still to see who's to accept that. There's going to be a dog collar match, which is really funny because I've literally just mentioned that. In that, there's also going to be a hardcore match. There's going to be an Old Firm street fight. What else is there going to be? There's going to be loads of stuff. Tag team championship is on the line. It's going to be really good. And because it's like the first over 18s, the event that these guys have ever run, it means that every match has a stipulation. It means that every match is going to be a little bit special. And everyone's going to be absolutely feral. So you should definitely come down and watch that if you get a chance. Absolutely. It's going to be at Ibrox. Crazy.
Next one.
This is No Limit. So I'm just going to highlight one match from this, just so that we could get, because I could talk about every single match here. So it's at the very top, MVK, Rampage, and Critchy. Now, Critchy cashed in a briefcase just after Rampage and MVK had a match together. And he basically swiped that title. So now there's going to be a three-way, and he has to fend both of them off to retain it. So what's going to happen to Critchy? Is he going to keep on to that, or are these big boys going to get their way and beat him up? What's going to happen?
Who knows, right?
I'm excited to find out. So that's on the 29th of November. Again, 29th of November. This is No Limits. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Cold Day in Hell. That's what it is. And one match from this, I'll just do the top, the Tate Mayfair's Drew Parker. Right, so Tate Mayfair's wanted to get rid of deathmatch wrestling. He went around everyone, tried to get a petition going. He's been harassing anyone that would listen. And now Drew Parker was noising him up, and Tate attacked him. And now they're going to end up in this this match, but it's not going to be hardcore. It's not going to be deathmatch rules. It is going to be, as Tate said, a straightforward pro wrestling match. And Tate thinks that that's going to be good enough to pull the win, but I think he's really underestimating Drew Parker. He's a very dangerous man. Even though Tate Mayfair is an incredibly talented wrestler, I'll be really interested to see these two lock horns and go head to head. So that's going to be it's going to be pretty interesting.
Say what you want about Tate Mayfair. He's a fighting champion. Let's be honest.
He is an excellent champion. I do not argue that one. Like, absolutely not. He is an excellent champion.
Absolutely. One final one.
Really good. And then we've got Fear and Loathing. When's that? 7th of December. So 7th of December. We have a 6-man match. We have an all-star Zero-G scramble where our new ICW Zero-G champion Wolfgang will be defending this all-star scramble with previous Zero-G champions. So there's going to be a lot to fight for, and what a difficult first defense for any champion. So that'll be quite tricky. There's going to be tag teams are on the line. Now, Arcade Violence are going on a bit of a tour at the moment. Hopefully, what their aim is, at the end of that, they're going to turn the tag team championship belts, ICW tag team championship belts, into ICW World Tag Team Champion belts. So hopefully that'll be done in time if they win. Let's hope. To bring it back as world titles for Fear and Loathing. If they are successful, it's going to be Arcade Violence, Sanity, of course, the big demo, and the return of grizzled young veterans making their way back to ICW after many, many years. Very, very much looking forward to that.
So what we'll do is we'll put all links obviously in the description of this video so people can go and check out each show out. Is that all right for you?
That's good for me.
Absolutely. John, you got any more questions, bro?
It's not a question. It's just something that I need to say to Veronica. Please take that tree down.
No. And the fact that it annoys you brings me joy. Even more joy.
No, but honestly, I think from myself, thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it,
Of course.
and I've enjoyed talking for the last hour.
I
Absolutely.
know it's been an hour. It's flew past. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for listening to all of my nonsense and me rabbit on.
If you want to
It's
go and
okay.
support Veronica, you may see a little QR code outside her name. If you scan that QR code, that will take you to her Instagram. You can go support her. Go check out. Do you post obviously all upcoming shows on your Instagram, I presume?
I do. I've also got highlights on my Instagram that says where I'll be. So if I've got any shows, if it's wrestling, cabaret, sometimes I'll do like cabaret hosting, performance. Sometimes I'll do Comic Cons as well. So if you ever want to, like, I'll do meetups. So usually things like that I'll post in there as well. But usually everything's on my page, yeah.
Absolutely, and stuff like that. So we need one final thing from you. So everyone we interview gets to do the outro for this show. So you can say anything you want. You can promote anything you want. And we'll end the stream. Veronica, take it away.
Put me on the spot here.
Boy, frozen.
For the outro, I would just like to thank everyone for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below everything that you liked here or any additional questions, and I'll make sure to come along and answer them myself for you. Thank you so much for watching. I know everyone here really, really appreciates it. Come to the next one, and we'll see you next time.
Just watching.